Hello, and welcome to the third installment in a video series on vocabulary instruction. Throughout this series, we are exploring different ways to teach vocabulary that could be implemented in our classrooms. Today, we will focus on crafting analogies as a strategy for explicitly teaching Tier 2 and 3 words. We'd like to take a moment to review why vocabulary instruction matters. As we indicated throughout this series, student success in school and life is connected to the words students encounter and understand, and more importantly, the words students are able to use in their spoken and written language. We also discovered that Tier 1, 2, and 3 words may be taught implicitly, but we also know that Tier 2 and 3 words must be taught explicitly due to the contextual significance of these words. In other words, if the meaning of Tier 2 and 3 words are unfamiliar to the learner, then the true meaning of any given text or situation may remain uncovered. In addition to the types of words we teach, we also discovered that there are many different ways to explicitly teach vocabulary. Like the second video in this series, we will continue to explore explicit vocabulary instruction in this video. By explicit instruction, we mean the kind of vocabulary growth that results from planned lessons designed to teach students a specific body of words. As you can see, there are many strategies for explicitly teaching vocabulary. Today, we'll take a close look at Joey Collins' class at Jefferson Junior Senior High School as they create analogies that identify and describe relationships between two items or concepts that enable students to gain a nuanced understanding of several Tier 2 and 3 words. As Joey's students create analogies, you'll notice them engaged in a form of wordplay that empowers them to discover how they might use words to examine the nuances of the relationships between terms.
Right? The warm-up, first of all, what are those four things? What do they all have in common? At the bottom of that caution sign. They are helmets. So all four of these, they are all helmets. They are all protecting your what from harm? Your head, your face, okay? So you just looked at this picture and you found the relationship between all four of these things. All right, we're going to be studying analogies today to define difficult words that we find in nonfiction texts, as well as when we write in response to a nonfiction text. So for example, number 1 says, blank is to Drake like Michael Jordan is to LeBron James. So you're going to have to figure out what goes in the blank and what the connection is. What's question number 2?
A blank is to MySpace like McDonald's is to Burger King. So McDonald's and Burger King are fast food places. Yeah.
Okay, write that in. Good job.
McDonald's is Burger King because it's
Good job. Okay, and then what is like MySpace?
I don't even know what that is. It's like Facebook and Gmail.
Okay, so it's kind of like a social media. What else is a social media for you guys?
Facebook.
Boom. There you go. All right, everybody. As I was walking around, Brandon, come have a seat. I saw some really good things. Number 1, I saw groups that were talking about the similarities and differences. I had groups that were questioning what the relationship was between two things, and I heard people coming up with new ideas. Okay, so let's go over this as a class. Blank is to MySpace like McDonald's is to Burger King. Cameron? Facebook. What did you know about McDonald's and Burger King? Both fast food restaurants. So you knew you had to find a difference or a similarity? Similarity. So how many people have used MySpace before? Okay, you didn't really know what it was, right? But when you asked around, you had to find a similarity. You knew that what connected to it. What else is social media? Facebook, okay? In your groups, you are going to be working on analogies to create. So we're going to be thinking about similarities and differences. Compare and contrast with these really difficult words. So we're starting off with fallacy. So everybody write down on number 5, fallacy. Okay, so find number 5 and write down the word fallacy. Okay, now I'm going to look down at my sentence stems. Okay, I have blank and blank are both blank. So am I finding similarities or differences?
Similarities.
Similarities. Where did we learn about yesterday, or the day before actually, about where I would go to find a word that is similar to another word?
Thesaurus.
Thesaurus. Okay, so everybody get online, type in thesaurus, and find a word that means fallacy. Once you have your word that you recognize, okay, Jessica's going to give you an example. Jessica, what word did you recognize from that list? Deception. And what does deception mean? Not true. Okay, so she chose to write deception. I chose to choose the word untruth. Okay, because for me, that's a word that I think I recognize the most. So I said fallacy is to untruth, or fallacy is to deception. Yes. Joseph, what's your word? Misconception. Do you know what that is? What is it?
Ow.
Mistake something.
Beautiful. JT?
Flaw or error.
Perfect. Okay, choose the one you want and write it in. Okay, now this next part is like what we did before. You now have to find something that will help you remember what fallacy is. It must be a similarity. So you're saying fallacy is to untruth or misconception or deception, like blank is to blank. Okay, so you're choosing to compare it to two things that are the same that you really know.
I don't know when that's right.
Okay, perfect. So it includes signal words, good find, okay, such as a result, and if, okay? Now, which one of those words can we use to describe this sentence?
Substantiate.
Yes, so I can substantiate that it includes signal words such as, and then you just keep going like that, you just keep proving it. Does that make sense?
I have to use all of it.
And then you just tell me what was a cause and what was an effect. What was one cause?
People killing elephants.
Yes, and what is that? Is that?
Indisputable.
Yeah, so it is indisputable that what?
People are killing elephants.
Perfect. And what does that affect? What's the effect of that?
We are not going to know elephants.
Yeah.
In addition to seeing students at play with words by creating analogies, specific teacher moves that prompted student actions were highlighted throughout this video. Through these intentional teacher moves, students were gradually released so they might be empowered to use these words in their spoken and written language. As you continue to plan lessons for your students, consider how you might intentionally design lessons for explicit vocabulary instruction by engaging students in a form of wordplay that enables them to examine the nuances of relationships between words. We look forward to exploring additional instructional stances for explicitly teaching vocabulary in the 4th video of this series.